All right, we have $50 from Savu saying this donation page is not a natural formation. Someone built it, so it must lead somewhere. Also, did somebody say Halo runs? And with that donation, I believe that we are ready for the run, so let's bring it over to the runner Garish for Halo Combat Evolved.
So time starts when the screen goes fully white. I'll tell you when that happens. And go. So hello, I'm Garish Goblin. I'm from Finland and I play Halo Fast. This is legendary difficulty and I'm playing on PC. And on the couch, we have some lovely people. You want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Shattermage. I speedrun Halo on easy.
10-10-220, also on easy.
And I'm Rexy. I'm an easy runner as well.
So the last time this game was run at the SGDQ was 3 years ago, in 2014. And that run was by the legendary Gotrope, of course. His time, I believe, was 1 hour and 51 minutes. And I'm planning to cut his time by hopefully at least 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, let's see. So this game has had multiple new skips found and just overall better gameplay, more optimized combat.
Do what you do best.
But this level, the first level, the player for them, the main thing I want to get here are plasma grenades. And hopefully I won't die, okay. It's super easy to die in pretty much every section of the level. And plasma grenades are the main tool of killing enemies here, because plasma grenades in this game are like extremely effective. Basically, they have one-hit kill almost any enemy type, excluding hunters and gold elites. So I want to get as many plasmas as possible. And Halo games always have had like super inconsistent checkpoints. Hopefully I can get this. Okay, there we go. It's like super important to get all these checkpoints, otherwise you can lose like minutes.
Yeah, so we're doing a couple of things here that might not be obvious. In that area that we just passed through, actually, we only wanted to kill about 2 enemies. If we end up killing a bunch more, then we get an extra spawn. Here, as Garish said, we're kind of just placing plasma pistols. Oh, there's a good checkpoint. And this is just kind of predicting AI behavior, getting them to splatter nice there. That's good. This room can go really poorly.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of AI behavior, whatever you get. But it's probably a recurring theme you'll see in this run. In general, if you just do the same thing over and over again, like that, sometimes you'll get through. And that's kind of bringing up an idea of an easy strat, like a safe strat, versus a really hard and risky strat. In this game, generally, the hard and risky strat will end up saving you time in the long run. Just dying a couple times will actually be faster than waiting and doing the safe strat.
So this is a cool mechanic. If these enemies haven't spotted me, they will just stand there and stare at the grenade until they die. It's super useful on this level because killing those guys individually would take so long. And here it's happening again.
Yeah, we call it a distraction grenade.
Yeah.
If they see the grenade before they see you, then they'll just stare at it and die like idiots.
So this next section is dependent on the right dialogue popping up at the right time. It's possible to actually do a skip here with... Yeah, I got the bad dialogue, but that doesn't matter. It's possible to do a little skip here called the maintenance skip. It saves a few seconds. You have to get a checkpoint at a very precise time, but we didn't get it.
This is another area where you'll probably see maybe some bad things happen. Just a ton of enemies packed into a little space. So you get a nice little health pack there. But again, doing it risky is still way faster than waiting and doing the safe strat.
He throws a grenade on the ground there to get the elites not to follow him, because the elites will stay away from the grenade after they've spotted you. So just trying to predict how the AI will react to the things you do throughout the run.
Yeah, and personally, I think this run gets a lot more interesting after Pillar of Autumn. The introduction level is pretty linear, and you're just trying to fight your way through a bunch of enemies. But we're almost done with it.
Yep. Not too bad overall. I could have died like so many more times here, but so far only 2 deaths. Hopefully, I'm at 1 bar, 1 red bar of health so far right now. Hopefully, I won't die to these guys. Nope. Yeah, I was literally 1 shot away from dying, but that's fine.
So for the level to end here, he has to kill all of these enemies.
Just in this little area.
Yeah.
You could see there was a massive explosion with those grenades. Because in this game, if there are grenades on the ground and there's another grenade that blows up next to them, it just chain reacts, and it can cause like massive explosions. I have lost runs to those explosions. It's just a dumb mechanic, to be honest. But
that'll probably come up
here. We should explain this.
Yeah, so we're going to do a little grenade jump here to skip a trigger. The game actually really wants you to go over a little bridge that you probably saw on the left side of the screen there. There's a trigger on that bridge that causes a bunch of enemy spawns up here ahead. So by doing this little grenade jump, not only is it more direct of a route, we actually skip a bunch of spawns, which most importantly includes 2 Banshees, the enemy fighter jets that are flying up overhead. And I always like to say that Banshee drivers have no bigger goal in life than to just fly down and crush you.
So yeah, this area is supposed to be filled with enemies, but because I did the nade jump, nobody's here. And the next area is interesting. So there's a thing called drop skip. There are 5 dropships that come down to the area, and you can skip one of them by killing the second one and the third one, the dropships fast enough. And it also requires for you to kill some Marines. There are 6 Marines, and 5 of the Marines have to die for dialogue to get skipped. So I kind of want to wait here just a little for these enemies to engage the Marines, because if I kill all of the Marines myself, they can turn on me and start killing me, and that's no good. So hopefully these guys kill at least one of the Marines for me.
Yeah, the Marines are actually super weak in this game, so the elites can just pick them off for you.
Oh, that was really good. And now I want these guys to die from this nade. Nice. So you can grenade Marines in this game, and it actually doesn't count as betraying them, because grenade betrayals are count
accidents.
as accidents. The same thing goes with splattering. So I'm gonna be doing that a lot on this level, since I'm gonna kill lots of my friends.
So something that you might not notice coming into this area, a big reason why we have to kill those Marines is actually to skip a bunch of dialogue. Every single one of these ships, we would be having a good 10 to 15 seconds of dialogues while the Marines talk about the enemies that are coming down. And since everything here is on a timer after you kill one ship and the next ship comes down, we wouldn't have enough time to perform the trick that we're trying to do. So remember where this second ship is trying to come down. If we do the trick properly, if we get the drop skip, there's supposed to be a 4th ship that's supposed to come down right there, and we'll just skip that 4th ship completely. But it requires, as we said, skipping the Marine dialogue and also completing all of the ships pretty quickly.
So this next ship there's a very interesting setup for this, and it's not too consistent, so hopefully it works. By the way, you can see me shoot the ships with a pistol, because you can actually get some grunts killed through the very small gap there is.
It's not very good design by the Covenant.
And hopefully that worked. Let's see now. There are 2 elites.
But that should still work.
Yeah, but there's a chance I'm gonna be super late for this next one. Let's see. I think I should be just in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got the skip.
But yeah, we got the skip.
So he actually, he got the skip.
So that's like 20 to 25 seconds saved.
And you can see how I keep jumping That is because... Oh no.
So we're actually...
Yeah, I didn't have any plasma pistol ammo and I didn't realize that. Oops. Okay, let's just see what I can do here.
These elites can be super dodgy. And something that you may not know about Halo is that since the elites are shielded, plasma pistols and plasma weapons in general do a lot of damage to shield, but a little bit of damage to health, whereas human weapons, you know, with bullets, physical bullets, do a lot of damage to health and very little damage to shield. So we're using what we like to call a noob combo, or a variant of the noob combo, which is really just overcharging with a plasma pistol and then trying to get headshots with a pistol.
Look, more lifeboats. They're coming in fast.
At this point, we're kind of on a timer, so we have some time to go gather grenades, guns. We're waiting for a human dropship to come down, the Pelican here. And then, like Cortana said, he's going to drop the Warthog and we can drive through. If you played this game and you remember how the level's laid out, you may be thinking, we can just skip through this entire area. There's really no reason why we have to fight the dropships, wait for the Warthog to come down. And that's true. We could actually just go on foot. But the level is so expansive that it's actually a lot faster to drive the Warthog and wait for it.
This cave is not a natural formation.
Everyone's favorite quote.
Someone built it.
So
So
I always
it
like to
must
talk
lead
about the
somewhere.
Warthog, aka the Halo car. It drives really strange. It handles kind of like you're driving on ice and the tires are coated in Crisco. But we can use that to our advantage. We can actually fling the car around the Halo car. And there's a fun little thing in the physics engine. Bungie decided that they didn't want you to be able to kill yourself or splatter yourself on a vehicle that you had just exited. So right after you get out of a vehicle, you have a brief period of invulnerability from that vehicle. We use that by getting out and turning in such a way that the vehicle actually hits us intentionally and will push us either through things or up things like you're going to see right here. Nice. Yeah, so we just use the vehicle to push ourselves up here and get to the button really fast. And since there are enemies shooting us, the game actually allows us to skip a cutscene that otherwise would have showing this light bridge extending, allowing us to pass the ravine.
So I guess we didn't really explain the goal of this mission. The goal of this mission is to actually save the Marines,
Right.
because we just crash landed and our ship was taken over by the Covenant. But we're not really going to save the Marines. It's actually a lot slower to save the Marines.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about saving the Marines.
There's no traffic on the Covenant.
We could probably read a couple donations until we get out of this structure and see some grass.
Sounds good.
Really gave them hell.
We have $200 from Anonymous saying, Garish, it's Joe Mama Bob. I hope this donation doesn't distract you as much as my Twitch sub did. Also, big shout out to my brother Jackson, who's watching this stream at work. Love you. We have $20 from Maxman Smart saying, what's up, Garish? Love the streams and I'm stoked for the run. Great to see you running at GDQ. Here's to good RNG on Library. Save the frames and kill the Marines.
Yo, thanks, guys.
Which you've been doing a great job of.
That is a great lead up. So we were talking about saving the Marines. This entire area consists of 3 non-linear sections, so you can complete them any order you want. But the trick is, the game really wants you to go in there, rescue the Marines, and get them evac'd, and that involves killing all the Covenant in the area and all the Covenant reinforcements that might show up. Going into here is another Warthog fling, like what we talked about, using the Warthog to hit us and go over the structure, get in here really fast. That was nice.
Search the interior of those structures
So,
before we leave.
going along with saving the Marines, the game developers decided that if you fail the objective, you shouldn't be super punished. So we're just going to come in here and accelerate the failure of the objective.
There we go.
Yeah, okay, so the Marines have been saved. So going along with that, we talked about how there are certain deaths that the game will consider accidental. So since we grenaded all of the Marines, we're not going to have any penalties. There is such a thing as a betrayal counter. So if any Marine sees you kill his buddies,
The interior of those structures
it
before we
activates what's called a betrayal counter, or we like to call it. And if such a thing happens again, if you kill another Marine within some timer of that first betrayal, all of the Marines on the entire map will suddenly get mad at you and aggro you.
Yeah, on easy difficulty, it actually doesn't matter if the Marines get mad at you, since, well, they aren't
Drivers
really
detected.
too
Marines
powerful
concealed
against
in
you.
those
And
rocks.
on easy difficulty, the timer actually runs out before the level even ends, usually, I think. But on Legendary, the timer is like way longer.
Yeah, I've completed Halo while the Marines were still mad at me.
Oh yeah, yeah. On Legendary though, you would have to do completely different strats if that happened, and I don't prefer those strats.
So we only killed one Marine, so the enemies, or the friendlies, I said enemies, they're only kind of mad at us. You'd probably notice that there were some yellow dots on the minimap in the bottom left corner, and those are the other allies that we're supposed to save. We're just going to go let them do their own thing. Covenant will probably take care of them. So that's 2 out of 3 areas where we have probably failed the objective. But removing these 2 guys from up on top of the rock from the area means that they don't count as still being in the area. So the game will allow us to progress.
Also worth noting, snipers are OP. Like the Marine snipers are OP in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the game developers just never programmed them to miss.
Now we finally actually got to do something productive rather than just press W in the Warthog. And the next level is actually going to be lots and lots of combat. That's going to be exciting, hopefully.
Yeah, so we just have to kill all the Covenant in this area. And a Covenant dropship will come down for reinforcements.
And now it's just the last set of enemies here. You can just kind of throw a few nades. And there we go, everybody's dead.
Great. And if we hear that's the last of them? Perfect. So now the level's just on a timer. We're waiting for our dropship to come down, pick us up, evac the survivors.
Oh, and he sticks the landing. We have $5 from Anonymous saying, "Hey Garish, Fallen Ultima here. You said that if I donate $5, you would get world record at SGDQ. Time to see that world record."
Well, we'll see about that, I guess.
There's our ride. Get aboard and let's get out of here.
And now TNR, or Truth and Reconciliation. I would say this is the hardest level in the game. Like, this has the highest skill gap. It's so much combat with the sniper rifle. It's just so many difficult sections.
Yeah, this level's really punishing. One slight mess up and the Covenant will get rid of you really quickly.
Yeah.
Once we get inside the ship,
and compared to Goathrope's run 3 years ago, definitely I've adapted to some YOLO strats here. For example, the first area, it's just gonna run straight through this area. There is a way higher chance of dying than taking it a little safe, but yeah, let's hope I don't die here.
This is actually one of the areas where you can't just run through. You'll see a lot of the combat on the last level and on POA. We're just kind of trying to run through, run and gun. It just simply doesn't work here, unfortunately. But we've got some pretty well-placed grenades where we can take advantage of where we know the enemies are going to spawn. And it's really important to kill elites in this. If the lower Covenant see you kill an elite, they'll go into a frenzy and get all scared and run away from you, so they can't do any damage to you. We're kind of working our way around the side of this area, do some quick killing of that elite and clear a path, because we're trying to get a power-up on the ground that's called an active camouflage. And for those of you who remember Halo, it just shields you from people seeing you for some short period of time. It's about 40 seconds?
45 seconds.
45 seconds.
One technique we forgot to mention is backpack reloading. And I'm going to be using that a lot. I've already been using it a lot, like the entire time. If you guys want to explain that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's probably a glitch, probably classified as a glitch, but essentially if you double tap your reload button and then do anything else to cancel the animation, the reload will continue happening while the weapon's in your backpack. That's why we call it backpack reloading. And you can cancel the animation by switching weapons or by getting into a vehicle. It's extremely useful, especially in the legendary category, because we just want to keep outputting damage over and over. We don't want to have to wait to reload.
And now this fight is probably the hardest part of the level, so hopefully this goes well.
Yeah. So we kill this, and then that activates the Covenant to start dropping guys down here. from the grav lift from the ship above. So we call this the grav lift fight. There are actually 8 waves of enemies, but with a well-placed grenade and sniper shot, you can kind of spawn kill these enemies as they drop down. The next wave, for reference, comes down when there is only 1 enemy remaining from the wave before.
Just one elite alive. He's trying to run away, but there we go. That was really good.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
very,
that was
very nice.
impressive.
So now we're going to have 2 hunters drop down. It's probably I think it's the first time we see hunters in the game, actually. But they've got this little orange spot on the back that kills them pretty quick, apparently. So yeah, like Cortana's alluding to, now we're just going to use their lift to get up into the ship. For reference, we're trying to get up there because that's where Captain Keyes is being held. Kill this Marine real quick just to skip some dialogue.
So yeah,
You know, because...
this is another wave fight. This fight has a little more random waves than the last one. So I'm actually just gonna let you guys explain this since
yeah,
I'm gonna be busy.
So there are 10 waves coming out of here. We killed the Marine in the beginning, right, because there's some dialogue that would have held the waves up, so we want to get the ball rolling a little faster. At some point, after like wave 4 or 5, you'll actually see us kill another Marine as well, and I'll explain that in a bit when that happens.
I mean, you can just admit it. It's because you're a monster.
So the first Marine that we killed, actually, none of the Marines saw that betrayal, so it didn't activate what we call the betrayal timer. That second Marine, everybody saw it, and I think they actually called us something for it. But essentially, we're trying to use that betrayal timer later in the level.
You can also get some nice frag grenade drops from that, which is super helpful in this fight.
Nice collision.
Good stuff. It's actually really easy to get overwhelmed in this area because the waves will just keep spawning and keep spawning. If you don't clear them out fast enough, the entire bay will just be flooded with Covenant and you'll never survive. Also, I think you may have noticed, we haven't gotten a checkpoint this entire time. So that's the first checkpoint for the whole fight.
Yeah.
After the fight's done, we do have 2 hunters that come out of here, and it's intended that we fight them, but we're not going to. Apparently there's a little trigger back here that if we just walk past the hunters, this door will open. And that's where we're trying to go. So no need to fight them.
He actually got an early door open there by getting the hunter to charge him, because
that's-
the Covenant can open red doors that Chief can't.
Which is important right here.
Yeah,
as
that'll
well.
actually come up here. So this is yet another big fight that the game wants us to do. We're not going to do the wave fight.
Oh, God door.
Oh, dude, nice.
Nice. So as you can see, the Covenant actually have the ability to open these doors that are locked to us. And since this is the direction we were trying to go, we can just use them to open it.
So there's one of the biggest skips in the game coming up, and for that, I need to gather some plasma grenades.
Yep. Yeah, the big room that's coming up is the hangar, and it's where the 4th and final wave fight is planned for this level. You'll notice we did the first 2, we skipped the 3rd one. We're going to skip the 4th one in a pretty interesting way, actually. What you need to know, there's a power-up on the ground that's called an overshield, and it charges up your shield in such a way that's purely scripted, so you literally can't take any damage while it's charging up. We're going to use that, stack some grenades on the ground, and get them to blow up at pretty much the same time. Getting us all the way up here, do a couple more grenade jumps to get to the top. What the game would have you do is actually fight on the bottom floor, wait for a... Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Very well done. The game actually wants you to fight on the bottom floor, work your way up through the hallways, and it would just take probably 15 minutes. We just did it in about 10 seconds. Yet another room where you have to clear all the enemies. This is not a wave fight. We just have to work our way through here, kill the enemies as fast as possible, while taking, hopefully, very little damage.
You want to be super careful with Jackals in this game. They have probably the highest... Oh no. I ran out of ammo, that's super unfortunate. But yeah, Jackals are super dangerous in this game. They probably have the highest damage per second out of any enemy, other than like Rocket, Flood or whatever.
So yeah, now we're just working our way through these hallways to try to get to Captain Keyes where he's being held. We're clearing out all the enemies in this area just because we're actually going to have to backtrack through this hallway. And the game will spawn more enemies when we come back through the second time, so we don't want these guys to be around.
You could actually see a glitch happen there, where if you stick an enemy and the grenade blows up, the grenade actually doesn't have a radius, so it only kills the enemy you stuck, which is a pretty annoying glitch, honestly.
All right, so this is where Captain Keyes is being held in the prison. There are 2 Invis elites, 3 grunts, and a sword guy.
So now we rescue Captain Keyes,
Yeah.
and now there's an escort mission coming up.
And we all love escort missions.
We should head back to the shuttle bay and call for evac.
There was a health pack in there that's probably good to get, and some grenades. So yeah, like we said, coming back through here, the game has spawned additional enemies. As we backtrack, we have to fight them. This being an escort mission, you actually really have to keep Captain Keyes alive, otherwise you revert back to the prison where you saved him. Unfortunately, the Marines have this annoying property where they like to throw grenades and then stand on said grenades. So here, we're going to do something interesting. Remember that betrayal timer that we activated in the belly when we first got into the ship? We're going to use that to our advantage now. So now the Marines are mad at us. The reason we did that is because there's actually 40 seconds of dialogue coming up when we get back to this big room that we got to. We just don't want that 40 seconds of dialogue to happen. If the Marines are mad at us, they just won't talk to us, which I guess makes sense.
What a nice lineup.
For those of you who remember how this level's supposed to end, you're actually supposed to go to the hangar, pick up one of the Covenant dropships, and exit the hangar. Because we did the big grenade jump, we skipped a bunch of triggers that otherwise would have caused enemies to spawn in the hangar at the end of that level. But because the game never spawned those enemies, it detected at the end that the enemies weren't alive, and since the enemies were never alive in the first place, it assumes that you killed them and just ends the level.
So now, the Silent Cartographer, this is the most legendary Halo level ever for speedrunning, honestly, I think. So many tricks I'm gonna do like within a few minutes.
Ton of tricks. You'll actually notice right off the bat, the game points you in the direction of a big fight that was on the beach, and we're just walking the other way because it's faster.
Hey, Garish, do you like long walks on the beach?
You like long walks on the beach?
Yes, I do.
Garish, how do you feel about stories?
Definitely go for it.
So every time I see this long walk on the beach, I think of a time when I was in a Halo speedrunning channel, watching a new guy run the game for the first time. I was trying to give him some tricks, tell him what to do and everything, and it was all fun. He didn't have a webcam or a mic. He was had to alt-tab out of the game and talk to me every time. I felt kind of bad. But I was telling him, dude, you're learning the game on Legendary. Maybe you should try learning the game on Easy. The tricks, you can just focus on the tricks. You don't have to focus on the combat. He's like, no, I want to do Legendary. That's what I want to run. I don't feel like running Easy. I'm like, fine, dude, whatever. Do what you want. That guy's name was Garish, the guy running in front of us today. So needless to say, I don't tell people to learn on Easy anymore.
Yep. So now, I'm gonna be using the fling mechanic again to get past the security door that you're not supposed to actually get through, at this point of the level. So, oh no.
Uh-oh, I'm good.
Hopefully I won't take too much damage. Okay.
So yeah, the game would have you come down here, they're going to lock the door, and then try to get you to go somewhere else to unlock it. we're just going to use the Warthog to fling through. This guy always has 2 plasmas, which is going to be really important for a trick coming up. You start with a level with 4 frag grenades, and getting the 2 plasmas there adds up to 6. We're going to use the overshield on the ground again, just like we did in the last level, to give us a little bit of invulnerability. And this is extremely hard, gets us all the way back up to the top, nearly where we started.
Not quite.
Not quite.
Oh.
He can do it, I believe.
Let's go.
Good. I think that's good.
Yeah.
So as we pointed out earlier in the run that we're talking about safe strats versus risky strats. It's actually sometimes quicker to try that trick there we call stick stack a few times rather than just taking a
completely different
safer route. Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely the hardest trick in the game. I'm kind of sad I didn't get it. Like, first try would have been super hype, but on world record attempts, I want to get it within the first few attempts, but that's still fine for a marathon run.
Still looks cool. Alright, so here we're going to get a trigger that actually ends up killing these enemies for some reason. And as soon as we get that trigger, the end level is tied to us getting in a pelican. That pelican is just on a timer coming down. One side note, not really relevant to this run, but if you remember when we went down and hit the map button and then came back up, there was a big, like, empty shaft to the bottom of the level. There's actually a side category that some people run called Bottom of SC, or BOSC. And it's just basically seeing how fast you can get to the bottom of there. You can actually survive and get down there somehow, but it's pretty hard.
Cortana to Echo 419. Chief and I are topside.
And now, AOTCR. This level has had probably the biggest route change. I guess that's what you can call it within the last year. So there's a really cool trick I'm gonna do. Before we used to do the bridge fall trick, that was around for years and years, and that's still the trick for easy runs. But for legendary, we have something a little more unique.
Yeah, this is actually a legendary and heroic only strat. You can't do this on easy, so I won't spoil it. It's pretty cool.
But first, I have to get through this area, hopefully get a few plasma grenades and not take too much damage. It's pretty easy to die here sometimes. Oh, no. Yeah, that is not good.
Nice headshot.
If that's not good, I might have a donation to help you. We have $5 from Arazat saying, "Hello, Garish, I like you."
Oh, hello. Arizat, literally every single time I stream, he comes in my chat and says the exact same thing. And I like you too.
All right, so we're coming up on the area where we're going to do the trick here. There's actually a Banshee flying around, just kind of patrolling. And what we really don't want to do is walk across this bridge. There are a bunch of triggers that would cause enemies to spawn, and we hate that. So if we stand in a very precise spot, the Banshee AI is going to get really confused, run into the wall here, and kind of flip upside down. We're just going to check the driver from the vehicle, and hey, free Banshee.
It's crazy that that's consistent.
Yeah, the first version of that trick that was found about a year ago, it was super inconsistent. But thankfully, there was a way better setup found for that. That is a super consistent trick if you know how to do it. It's still super hard. It looks way easier than it actually is.
So like I said, there are a bunch of triggers now that are being skipped. Well, we kind of call this a reverse domino effect. If you skip the first trigger, all the triggers in the rest of this level are tied to that trigger. So there just won't be enemy spawns for the rest of the level. that sounds great. Unfortunately, that also means there won't be checkpoints at all for the rest of the level, except for one right here that is scripted. The rest of the level, no checkpoints whatsoever. So we're just flying through an empty map, and if we die at any point, we're going back to there.
Yep, runs have been lost to people splattering themselves with the Banshee because it's super easy in this game to, like, if there's a vehicle moving at you at like 1 mile an hour, you are dead, basically. It's just weird how that works, but that's how it is.
Time for a couple donations?
We can read a couple donations.
Okay. You mentioned it earlier. We have $117 from Goat Rope saying, "Hey, Garish, good luck. I believe in you. Shoutouts to HaloRuns.com."
Goat Rope, the legend.
We have $50 from Bad Cat saying, "Great games done for an amazing purpose. Go, guys, go. Save the animals, you meanies."
Speaking of 117, the world record currently for this game is actually 1 hour and 17 minutes.
Yeah, actually, I want to say it's 1 hour 17:34 by Garish, and just saying that doesn't quite do it enough justice. That's actually almost 5 minutes faster than the next run, and the next run actually isn't even that bad. It just kind of gives you an idea of how crazy fast we can do this game right now. I remember when the world record got down to like 1:30, and I thought that was ridiculous.
I literally almost died there. That was super scary. So now, usually I would do a grenade jump up there, but since I'm at 1 red, that's really not a possibility since you would die from it.
But yeah, this is more walking through empty hallways and going to get another Banshee, so I think we can read a few more donations.
We have $100 from the Eliminate88 saying, "Love speedruns in Halo. Good luck." $50 from Anonymous saying, "Grew up with Halo, and it is the first franchise to get me to speedrun. Halo for life. I agree." $77 from Piro M saying, "Thanks, Garish, for helping on the speedrun history article. Hype for your run, kill the saves, and frame the Marines." And $5 from Lord Sturm saying, "Loved playing Halo as a kid. This run brings back so many memories. Here's hoping your sniper rifle accuracy is way better than mine. Put the money to Reader's Choice because he's a classy guy." Thank you, Lord Sturm. $50 from Lazy Penguin saying, "I love finding new games during GDQs. Thanks for the impressive runs for charity."
So now, we just have to open a few doors here and the level will be done.
Yeah, getting back to the story, so we got the map room on the last level. That told us where the control room of the entire Halo ring was. So that's what we're going to get right now, is to the control room. When we get there, Cortana is going to tell us that Captain Keyes needs to be rescued yet again, and that's going to send us on the next mission.
Actually, one thing I wanted to mention, yesterday unfortunately I couldn't see it myself, but another Finnish runner called Savusukka actually got the easy full game world record for this game, so shoutouts to him. He's a cool guy.
Hype Savusukka.
Yeah.
We're halfway done with the game level-wise, not halfway done time-wise. The 2 longest levels of the game are in the second half. And this level is pretty interesting. It's actually, spoiler alert, the first level where you find the Flood. So if you haven't played Halo before, sorry. Do a little quick grenade jump here just to skip some walking sections.
Can someone tell me what the timer is at currently?
37:24.
That's not too bad, actually.
Trust me, I think anybody that's played Halo remembers the first time they see the Flood.
It's spooky.
There is a cool little jump you can do here. It saves like a second, and it's super hard, and I didn't get it. You have to jump super late for it.
It saves 1 frame. It actually saves a lot more than that. This is another section where you're going to see the concept play through again of like going risky and fast or going safe and slow. We're going to go risky and fast.
I don't want these jackals to push out of this door because it can get me killed really easily. This area is so dependent on what those jackals do. Hopefully that won't happen again.
He was ready.
Oh, these guys just one stop right now. There we go.
Nice. You can do a little bit of AI manipulation and keep these guys there to keep the door open for you. Saves another 2 seconds or so.
Yep.
But we're making our way to the reveal room, and that's where we're going to see the flood for the first time. If you remember, there was a private, what's his name?
Jenkins?
Jenkins, yeah. And you get to watch them find the flood.
And now we are introduced to these spooky popcorn guys.
Yeah, the popcorn flood are the little infection guys that run around and they try to infect you. Luckily, we have shields, so they'll just pop on our shields until our shields go away, and then they'll start eating us. But there are 3 doors that will open up with infection forms. It's always the same 3 doors. So we'll do a combination of grenading, shooting, hitting, letting them pop on our shields.
Yeah, the AR is a pretty useless weapon overall, but against the infection forms, it's super effective since they only take 1 bullet to die. And the AR has a super high, what's it called?
Rate of fire.
Yep.
We actually have some advice for this section. It's $5 from Anonymous saying, Garish, do the thing, shoot the gun. Oh no, not like this.
Once the game decides that we've killed enough of the infection forms, it's going to open the same door that we entered through.
There we go.
And we get that music.
I was super confused about that room.
They were hiding.
Yeah.
Here's another distraction grenade. It's a good example of it. Now we're just trying to escape, right?
Yep. And there is a nade jump I'm gonna do. It's not hard. Actually, I didn't get the checkpoint. Oh, there we go. Okay. It's a nice little boost against the pillar. Hopefully I can get it. It's pretty weird. There we go.
Nice.
And now, after this next elevator, the hardest trick in the game.
The hardest trick in the game. There's an area coming up after this elevator where the game kind of wants you to fall through a broken light bridge and have to find your way back up. We're going to skip that whole thing by doing some tricky platforming on kind of a slippery surface. We call the trick camo jump because there's an active camouflage here on the ground that we grab right before it. The trick is also called camo jumo, lovingly. Shoutouts to Double's Foe's inability to spell.
We actually have $5 from Bad Live Man saying, hey Garish, good luck. Can't wait for the camo Juno.
Yo, thanks, man.
So that active camo, like we talked about on TNR, it's about 45 seconds, and that's just enough time to run our way through all these areas and get the flood to completely ignore us.
And now there's this one last nade jump. This is also really, really tight. Hopefully I can get this. Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah. So doing that nade jump actually skips a trigger that you otherwise would have hit going across the light bridge, which would spawn some enemies around here that we just don't want to deal with.
This is Echo 419. Chief,
And now, the ending of the level. For whatever reason, the trigger to end the level is tied to 2 allied sentinels. Sentinels are the small flying robots. There are 2 sentinels at the end of the level, and for the level to end, both of those sentinels have to die. I have no idea why. It really makes no sense, but that's what you have to do to end the level.
Again, in standard Halo fashion, we're going to accelerate the death of our allies.
Yep.
I think
there
Bungie. Oh, go ahead.
Yep, there are like lots of flood in this area as well. So if I get really slow sentinels, there's a high chance I'm just gonna get flooded.
$25 from Emily Y-Chan saying amazing event and great work so far. Shout out to my cousin Terry at the center of the couch. You guys are doing great work.
Thanks. If you saw the blue floating orb guy, that's 343 Guilty Spark, the monitor of the installation. And he's our friend for now. Or the Sentinels. Cool, so yeah, now the level's just on a timer.
And now, next up.
Next up is the library.
Best level in the game.
Best level. We're just doing a little grenade jump here to skip a trigger that would otherwise, again, spawn a bunch of enemies. We are going to kind of backtrack a little bit to that area, not completely. We want to attract the attention of one particular flood who is standing kind of behind this wall. That flood has a unique property that we want to use. He's what we call a reviver. A reviver flood in this game, there's a 30% or 40% chance for a given flood to be a reviver. Flood that are revivers will pretend to die when they're a little bit below 30% health, and then they'll stand back up and come back to life. That's why they revive. The cool thing about that property is that when they play dead, when they go down the first time, the collision box completely disappears. And you can stand on top of them, do whatever, the game won't care. When they revive, when they come back to life, the collision box doesn't just come back up with the flood, it actually suddenly reappears. And we can use that to our advantage to get through certain areas. This is one of these doors where you would otherwise have to wait for the monitor to let you through. But we'll just let ourselves through. Thanks.
And now, you can grab this shotgun in a very interesting way.
A couple very well-placed grenades, and this shotgun comes right to us.
Yep. That was the first flood bomb I did on the level. And there are 5 in total, but on Legendary, I guess we only go for 4 of them. Oh no.
Oof.
Also,
That's tough.
dying on this level is super random and you can just die so randomly sometimes. It's just unfortunate. This is definitely the most RNG heavy level in the game, probably in the entire franchise.
Yeah. But we'll go down here and get an overshield just for survivability in this hallway.